Hey there, Wargamers, Justin here, and today we're going to do a little something different. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in today. And today, much like our previous episode, I want to try and do some hobby work just to hang out with you guys, give you something to throw into the background while we get some painting on or some assembly, whatever the case may be. I think that would be a lot of fun. And I've got some minis here I need to prime, which includes a commission here with the Skaven and the Steel Rift minis that we built previously. So today I want to start off by cutting some of these kebab skewers, and we're just going to glue them to the bottoms of these little bros so that we have them kind of mounted on a stick so that we could do some airbrush work. So we're going to go ahead and cut these down. We need what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I think we should have ample amounts of these. 3, 4, 5. That's probably good right there. And 6 and 7. And we'll see if that's enough. If those are not long enough, I've got another one here that we can work with. And while we were working on this today, again, my thoughts are, first, let's pop up and Dr. Pepper, get a little sip of caffeine. So my thoughts are, do a series like this when I can't always get someone out to film. I can still put out some content that you guys might enjoy and may be able to have someone in the background to give you some hobby motivation. I find some people, myself included from time to time, do a little bit better when we've got kind of a hobby wingman. And I've got a video up that talked about that at this point, I think, years ago. But having someone in your corner that you can hobby with, it helps get you motivated. I think a lot of people just have a lot more fun doing hobby stuff together versus separate. And that needs to be a little bit more flat because we're not getting a good I'm getting a good seat on our mini there. These kebab skewers are not cooperating very well. Don't like that X-Acto blade, which I thought would have for sure cut on through, but I was wrong. Go ahead and try this again. This is why an accelerator is so useful to have. And for you, those of you who were watching me work on these the other day, you know that I was struggling to get things to cure to begin with because my super glue is being kind of a pain in the butt. So I'm actually going to attempt to prop these up against something because I don't want to sit here for 5 minutes and hold these little sticks. So if we can get the minis to lay the way I want, which I like that. Now I'll just trounce that in some super glue and we'll let that sit and it will cure when it cures. Okay, we may have to do this with a couple of these guys. I kind of thought if I shaved that ball, if I shaved that ball a little flush that we might have been able to get a better fitment there, but I was incorrect. And we just totally broke that little bro off. But we do breaking stuff. Yep, gonna have to get me a bottle of accelerator. This is getting excessive with video number 2 here, and the super glue just not wanting to set. Period. I know I'm a little impatient, but that's why we use super glue. And normally it gets a little tacky almost instantaneously, and with these, it's not cooperating. All right, since we just broke a piece off him, we're gonna wait a minute. Let's grab this guy. Little small bro. Here we go. And I apologize if the audio is a little weird. I am filming today in the garage. My goal is to start kind of doing some stuff out here. I'm waiting to get a table, which the company I was looking to trade product for a table with has neglected to get back to me. It's been a multi-month affair, and we were in talks to trade DRD product for a table so I could film from home. But if they continue to ghost me, I may just end up coming out of pocket and buying a table from their competitor, which I did not want to do because I found out this company was semi-local to us, but I've been trying for probably 3 months now, I'd say, give or take, to get a deal worked up with them, and it's difficult to get communication, and I want to get started with stuff sooner rather than later, and their competitor is out of Europe, and at this point, if I had bought the table versus traded for one, I'd already have it. Saving hobby dollars makes sense, but can't do the hobby things I want to do if I can't get the products I want to do it with. So if I'd already spent the money, I would have already had it. So and the big issue is, like, I could make a table, but I want something that I can fold up, take down, do stuff with. And finding a 4x6 gaming table is not an easy thing. It's not a standard size that a lot of companies make. So trying to find that is difficult, and I found 2 companies that make them, and one of them happens to be in the States, though the actual table looks almost identical. Theirs is black and their competitor is a white one, but the fold out and full process actually looks basically the same. So doesn't much matter to me because I'm going to put a game mat over the top of them anyway. My goodness. Again, accelerator would have been a lifesaver right here. A lifesaver. So what I'm doing here is propping these so I can get these sticks to glue, and irritating. I was going to bring acrylic rods from work, which probably would have worked a little better than these, but I forgot them, and I'm not driving 30 minutes to work just to get acrylic rods on my day off. So we're going to try and make these skewers work for us. That's what we're going to try to do. And then once those are hopefully affixed, we'll be able to do something. Yeah, irritating. Just balance, my guy. Thank you. We'll be able to start working on some airbrushing, which was kind of the point. I wanted these little sticks to allow me to be able to hold them and manipulate. All right, so let's move some of these. So we got some space over here against the other box, and I've got, looks like 4 left. The little guy was hiding. And then, if those are dry, we can get going. One of the other benefits of being out here is I can airbrush and film. My setup previously was in my bedroom, and while I still have my hobby desk in there, I'm trying not to airbrush there if I can help it. So we'll see how that continues. But yeah, as the channel grows, I would love to be in a position where I've got an actual, like, dedicated space, but we got to take these one day at a time, or one little session at a time, and see how the hobby growth goes, so to speak. So we'll see how everything transpires. That said, as I did in the previous video, for those of you who are tuning in, thank you. Appreciate you coming in. If you're new here and you're enjoying this little bit of ramble that I'm doing, make sure you alpha strike that like and subscribe button. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you for having my 6. Appreciate you having my back. Thank you for being an awesome lance mate, star mate, whatever the case may be for you. Appreciate you being here. That's it. As always, if you guys are working on any hobby stuff of your own, I'd love for you to sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you've been working on yourself. I'd love to see your hobby progress, see your work, and share with the community. I think it's cool. So drop a comment, throw your Instagram links if you got one. Let's see what you've been working on. And if for some reason your comment, like you posted and you see it not go through, let me know. Drop a comment, send me a message on socials. Sometimes YouTube flags comments, even though I've got it set up to let all of them. Sometimes it still flags, and then I've had a few comments where, like, there was nothing wrong with them, but I missed that YouTube somehow flagged them, and months later I finally notice, and then they get approved, and then the person who commented may have thought I was being a jerk when I wasn't, when it was YouTube. And if I don't specifically go click to find the filtered stuff that is pending approval, I don't know that it's there. So, and again, having some accelerator with these would have been a godsend, because this is super tedious and a little bit annoying. But hopefully we won't have to be working with this too long. I want to get the base coats down and then mount them to their legs. That is the goal. Okay. And my thoughts are with today's video, we might be able to, okay. We'll come back over there in a minute, my guy. Yeah, he's being a little bit of a jerk with his. I do not know exactly why. My thoughts are we can do, get a little bit of hobby progress going in today, show you guys what I've been working on, and get some airbrushing on these bros. So I want to drop some primers, which we've got our Monument Hobbies primers here, the Pro Acrylic stuff, which is great. So we got that, and then I got some paints here to work with. So we've got our gray stuff, which I want to use on their legs, and then we've got some green paint, which I want to use for the Skaven, and then I've got these jade colors I want to use on my mechs, and this guy's rod literally just keeps coming off. So we're going to snip that and try and get a more flat flush here because it had a little bit of a weird taper to it. And we're going to try that again, the fresh side. He's a little awkward because he sticks further out away from the box where I've got these propped on, so not quite as flush as I would like that to be. Okay, now we got one more little bro, and we'll see if we can't get that glued. Now this one's got an antenna on him, so he's going to be a little bit more annoying. I may have to attempt to hold this in place and see if we can't get that to work. Nope, I don't have the patience to sit there and hold that. So, do we have something we can use? We can brace that with. Looking like that's not going to work. Will this provide the height we need? Very close. Very, very close. All right, it's back. Yep. Sometimes you just got to use what you got at your disposal. And we're going to re-snip that and make it flush because it's a little bit not. All right. Let's try this again. Okay. Yeah, that's looking a lot more flush there. And pop a little bit of glue. Bloop, bloop, bloop. All right, so while it's drying, let's see how this one's worked. Not great. Our glue is literally just not curing. And you guys who watched the last video were here for me and listened to me struggle with this. This is a relatively new bottle of Zap-A-Gap, and it is literally just bad. It's not. We're not getting any curing on any surface whatsoever right now. It's a real pain. And then right there, parts are just breaking. It's super brittle. So I feel like I'm gonna have to get a new bottle, which is unfortunate because it's not the cheapest stuff. It's not the most expensive thing, but it is not super cheap. And the fact that I'm now gonna have to replace it sooner than later. Literally just not. Were you serious, bro? Fucking asshole. Alright, so I've taken a minute to let all these glue and dry. I was getting a little frustrated, so it took a little time to take a break there and let them dry. So I think these are all within reason in good position to start airbrushing. So hopefully I don't run into any problems with that. We'll see how that goes. So I think for our paint on these, we're going to be, first we got to prime them, but then we're going to do, I think, gray toned legs with some jade upper torsos, which I think with these colors is going to look quite nice. So we'll see how that goes. And then we've got our little Skaven bros here that we also need to lay some primer down on. So got a little bit of primering that's going to have to take place today. So you guys, whoops, have to bear with me while we get some airbrushing going on. And if I stop talking, we'll cue a little bit of background music or something so that you guys aren't just sitting here watching paint dry, so to speak. Hopefully that won't be a major problem though. So let's go ahead and grab the Skaven bros first, and we'll mount those all onto some little paint handles. Actually, not even all of them. I'm gonna be... Oh, I do have enough. I thought there were 7 of them. I guess there are 6. So we'll get all those guys mounted up here. And then we should be able to airbrush some of these by hand. I don't know where the rest of my paint handles are currently. So this is what we're going to have to do. Boop. Alright, so we got all those mounted up. Let's move our hobby supplies over. Boop. And we'll move this off to the side over here. To our other little hobby space. Hobby space. Alright, so let's check our airbrush. Whoop. Little gummy. Okay. Been a little bit since I was out here working with it, so we'll clean it up. Also, I apologize if you guys are getting weird noise. Again, trying to film in the garage today, do something a little different and a place I could comfortably airbrush. And wouldn't you know it, I go to do this, and it's raining, and there's acorns dropping all over the roof, and lots of crazy noise. So I apologize if there's any background noise. I won't know if the microphone's picking up until I go to edit, but we'll see. So let's go ahead and get some black paint going here, and we'll start laying down some primer. And so pro acrylic stuff is my jam, and if you have not used it, or you're looking to pick up some restocks, got a coupon code and a link in the description down below. Alright, so we've got some base coats down on those, and now it's time for us to grab the torsos here and start laying down some primer on these. And I got a little box here with areas that I can push these down into to hold them. So that is what we're going to do. Just spray above them here. I'll actually zoom this out a little bit because we're a little tight and I'm running low on space. And actually I could probably get this out of the way for now. And then I'll open up a little extra space for us on the side. Let's just move our box of goodies to the floor. And that'll give me a little extra space to move things around. Move our little Skaven bros to the back while they dry. And we've had some overspray on the cutting mat, which happens. Our hobby space is not going to stay pressed in forever. Just the way that it is sometimes. Okay, I think we got all the resin on that guy. Alright, so we got our black done on all these. We're going to give that a moment to dry, and we'll come back in with our grays and whites and build up our gradient on these before we lay down some color. So if you guys don't have one, I highly recommend getting one of these for your hobby station. That helps dry things much faster. Unfortunately, while drying them, I found a few that has some spots that are missed, so we got to come back in here and do some spot spraying to hit any areas that still had areas that were unprimed. And on the few of these Skaven, the undersides had a few spots that were still showing a little bit of their base plastic, so coming in and fixing that. This guy was kind of right in here, so we got that, and then like his ball right here I missed, so I just come in and get that. Not the end of the world, but I didn't want to miss that. So just get that covered, and then this guy, I hit my finger on that, so whoop, get that back to black. And then on these legs, same thing, kind of hit his leg with a finger, so boop boop. And on this one, I think it was the same thing right here. Hit the knee pad with my finger. So let's go ahead and clean our paint out here. And one of the things I like to do is to store my needle in the back position, so if I'm clumsy and I knock it forward, I don't mess up my airbrush. And that is a very easy thing to mess up. Actually, I say that and I'm a step ahead of myself. I need to drop down one more color. Next step, we're going to be dropping some grays and whites on some of these. So we're going to start with these legs here. And we're going to grab some dark neutral gray. I don't think this one's actually been opened yet, so we'll see. Nope. So the monument stuff comes pre-sealed. Boop. There we go. These nice little pop tops, which is really great. And these aren't going to be, this one isn't going to be super duper drastic here. Just want to get some gray, kind of a zenithal on top of our legs here. There we go. And again, I'm kind of working on multiple projects at once here to get all the airbrushing done, so then I can take these in the house and not have to be in the unclimate controlled garage where it's not as cozy. So that is what we are currently doing here. And this dark neutral gray generally dries pretty dark, but it's a nice little step as we build up our colors here. All right, and then we'll come in and we'll start hitting some zenithal on our Skaven here as well. You know, some spraying from the top, so we're getting the transition. So we got the darks in the bottom, or in the recesses, and the bright gray from the top. Grab some more paint here. All right, so we got those kind of done. Now let's come in and we're gonna get some brighter colors going on with our torsos here for our HEVs. I'm gonna try and develop an interesting gradient on these so that we got a nice transition in colors. So we'll see what I can achieve. So kind of leave the dark, or the backside, pretty dark, and we're just focusing on that front edge of our mini here. Alright, so we got our grays down. I'm going to give these guys a moment to dry. We're going to come in and start building up the pre-shades on all these so we can lay down some color. So we got all our dudes dry now. We're going to come in with some neutral gray and spray some bright spots on these. I think we're going to come in with white on the rest of these guys just to get them a bit more extreme. But with these legs that are going to stay gray, I don't want to go too bright on this. So we're going to grab a little bit of our flow improver here. Get this loaded up. That is probably more than we need. Struggling to get paint flow, so there we go. And grab a little paintbrush, a little bit of water. I'm not sure how much, again, I won't know until I edit this, how much talking I was doing, so it might be some music overlay, but I do hope this is a nice little background thing for you guys to pop in while you're getting your hobby on, because I want to encourage everyone to be working on their minis, working on stuff that makes them happy. So hopefully that's coming through for you guys. And I'm digging those legs. I think when we come in with the bright neutral gray like airbrush, or not airbrush, dry brush, I think we're going to be in business. I think that's going to turn out pretty nice. Trying to come in mostly just from the top so we maintain some of those shadows, because I want to have some kind of developed gradation without having to work too hard at it. That is the goal, at least. There we go. Okay. Yeah, and I figured these were going to go pretty quickly. Yeah. The transitions on these nice curved legs are much more prominent, which is nice. Okay, so now let's just dump out our gray paint. I'm not too worried about mixing anything up now, but we are going to slide these off to the side. So I think those are pretty well where they're probably going to be for now, because we need to start working on dry brushing them and so forth. So we got that gray down. We're going to come in with a little bit more of that flow improver, and then we're going to grab some white primer. And the reason I grabbed the flow improver is because I want to thin this white down a little bit. I want to be a little bit, or adjust kind of the opacity. And with that little bit of gray in there, it's not the end of the world, because we're going to be spraying over this anyway. Okay, so I think I might have got that a little too much. So add a little bit more water in. Not water, sorry, a little bit more white paint. Alright, so I think that might be okay. I'm actually going to move our legs over to the side because I've been kind of spraying this direction. Don't want to overspray on them at this point because the color is where I want it to be. Okay. Okay. Start on this little bro here. Up that PSI a little bit. Okay, this little fellow here. You know, she kind of left some of the dark there into the light. Kind of the intention I'm going for here. There we go. I may yet come back in with some spot white here because I still think this is a little too much on the gray side. Not the end of the world, but actually, matter of fact, that might actually look kind of nice on those legs. I might test a little bit on those legs since we got plenty of paint mixed up here. Just give it a little testy poo, see how I'm feeling. Let's grab one here. Let's just kind of, yep, let's just give it a little spot highlight. Yeah, it lights it up pretty nice. I actually think that was serendipitous. I think that I used that word correctly. Sometimes I try and whip out my SAT words. Don't always work good, but I try. Okay. Yeah, I think that was probably a smart call. I think this is giving us a little bit more definition, a little bit more drastic gradation, and I like that pretty good, actually. Nice. That's a good idea. Sometimes you stumble into a happy little accident. Alright, so now I think I'm going to grab our torsos here. And let's move our little Skaven bros out of the way, so no overspray. Come in here and start building up some gray color on these two. I'm really hoping when we get to the jade colors it shows up on these well the way that I want. We'll see. Sometimes I like to experiment, and this is what I'm doing with these bros here, just to see kind of what I come up with, what I like. Until you try something, you never know. So this is what I'm doing. And I think we're going to come in with a little bit of white as well on these and just really push that hot spot, so to speak. I think that's going to make the optimal sense with what we're working on here. Trying to get an angle. I guess you guys can't see that. I'm sorry. I'm a little off screen here. Trying to get my angles right. And unfortunately, working on many projects at one time here, many minis, it's a little bit more difficult to be in frame. But because this is not like a formal tutorial, maybe it's not the end of the world. Something put out there and just help you guys get motivated to do some hobby work if I can. Alright, so let's dump our canister here, our our cup here for our airbrush. And I'm going to do a little bit more diligence cleaning this out this time so it's not contaminated so much with gray. Okay, I think we got that pretty well cleaned. Our mixing brush looks pretty good. Let's grab us some more of that flow improver, a little bit more of that white paint. Now we're going to come in for a little bit of a bright spot on these minis now. Okay. Okay. And in the end, this effort may not actually matter that much because I haven't actually planned out exactly how I want to lay down the green colors on these. So just doing this as a precaution to get our transitions the way I want for the undercoat, and then I can work from there. And if it was a waste of time, at least it was done and not needed versus not done and then needed. So kind of want to do the prime step the way I want to do it first, and then we'll make adjustments later. But I'm digging pretty well how that's looking. Alright, so let's go ahead and move these guys to the back. I'm pretty pleased with where that is at. And we're going to come in and we're going to grab those torsos again, and we're going to start laying down some white on those. And then we'll be in a position to start laying down some color, which will be very nice. So I'm ready to start laying down something other than base coat primer type stuff. So I like pretty well where that's at. Let's go ahead and clean out our airbrush here and get ready to lay down some color. For our Skaven Bros here, we're going to be laying down some greens from Pro Acrylic. We've got dark camo green, yellow green, and dark yellow green. So I think we're going to do them as dark camo, yellow, or dark yellow and yellow, just to have a nice transition here of greens. So let's start with this dark one. A little bit of our flow improver. Whoop. Okay, so I think the little guy, I think we're gonna leave out because I think he ends up kind of being brown, but the rest of these guys kind of have that green robes. So get him here and start laying down some colors. so we got that green down. I'm going to transition over to the dark yellow green here. Get a little bit of flow improver in our cup. Dark yellow green. This one's going to be kind of more from the top this time. It's going to be a pretty, hopefully, pretty nice juxtaposition to that camo green. We'll spray it on the back of our hand and we'll see how it looks first. And you can see the two different colors, so I think that brighter color is going to be pretty nice. And the hope is, when this is done, hopefully the robes are basically in a state that is almost acceptable, just dry brushing, edge highlighting, something like that, and then we can get in and just start working on detailing the actual like rat bits. So that is the hope. Let's see how that actually works out in practice here. And so we got that nice like transition from dark green to the lighter green there. Now I'm going to get a little airbrush cleaning. Just empty our cup out here. Going from green to green is not that big of a deal, but going to this slightly lighter green, I wanted to maximize the opportunity for it to not be darkened up by the previous green. So I'm going to grab that yellow green here. We'll see. Let's see what the color difference is. It already looks pretty brighter in the cup. See what that looks like on the back of her hand here. So yeah, pretty good transition there. And this one will be a little bit more diligent with where I want the kind of bright spots to be. And I apologize if the noise is getting crazy. The rain is really coming down right now. As expected, this weekend has just not been good. I had planned to film some games this weekend, and then John had to bail, and then I tried to replace with Bob, and then Bob had stuff happening, and then I was going to go to the shop and film, and then was busy, and then I was like, I'll sit down at the house and film so I get some content coming out, and then it decides to rain in an area that's not super conducive to painting and filming when it rains. So still trying to get something out here for you guys, but sometimes Murphy's Law is unfortunately in effect. So I'm going to clean this out here, because for the next colors I do want to run, I don't want green mixed in there. So we'll get that cleaned out, and then I'll show you guys, so I don't think I've done it on camera yet, but one of the things again I like to do to get these guys going, just come in here with that hair dryer, get them nice and dry quickly, and then you're able to move on to the next steps you'd like to do. gotta be careful when you do this if you're working on like Battletech minis, because if you get them too hot, they do get really, really soft. This is not ultra hot. You can spray it on your blow it on your face if you want to, but this one I'm on the low setting. On the very high setting, it does get really hot quickly. And I've had some Battletech minis get really, really soft when I've used the hairdryer to dry them during the airbrush process. So, thing to be cognizant of if you are trying to speed up your dry process on your minis. All right, with our Skaven Bros now dried up, next order of business is to get them to the back of the desk, and now it's time to switch our colors up and start working on our HEVs for Steel Rifts, and for that we're going to be switching over colors. And I want to play with some of the new colors here. So we've got, I don't remember where Bright Jade, when Jade and Bright Jade came out, but we also have Dark Jade, and that's a new one. Have not even opened that yet, so we're going to whip that out today. Give it a nice shake. This is from their signature series. I don't remember which artist this goes with, but I buy all the pro acrylic paint, so it doesn't much matter to me what artist it's for, as long as I'm getting the paints that I like. And that is what's important to me. So let's go ahead and grab our box O HEVs. I'm going to put these over to the side here and grab our airbrush. Go ahead and put our needle back forward. And I'm actually going to try and zoom in a little bit this time so you guys can see a little bit more what I'm doing. Hopefully, we'll see. We're going to get our flow improver in here and grab this Dark Jade. What a beautiful looking color that is. Oh, it looks good. Try and clean out our paintbrush here and mix that up. Oh, look at that. Oh, so nice looking. Let's spray on the back of our hand to see how coverage is looking. Looking pretty all right. So let's grab one of our HEVs, and we're going to be trying to aim for the kind of dark undersides of them first, and we'll see how this is going to start looking. And I'm trying to preserve some of the light areas as best as possible, so that when we come in with the other jade colors thinned down, we've still got that bright color to spray over. That is very important. That said, that jade is such a nice color. It's so pretty. I think once we get all these colors down, these guys are going to pop pretty good. I hope. I hope. Again, this is why I used flow improver, but like that thins the opacity down on this pretty nicely. Whoops, sorry if I was a little off screen there, guys. That's super excited I was working on that guy. That's why we've got the opacity kind of adjusted with some of that flow improver. So if this was coming out super opaque, we'd be getting maximum coverage, but we wouldn't be preserving any of that pre-shading we did. And then what's the point? Why did we do it? So that's kind of what I'm doing here. And bear with me as I'm getting used to where the camera is mounted outside. As I do this, if there's something we do more of, I'll be a little bit more cognizant of my positioning in relation to me and the camera for you guys to see what it is I'm actually doing. I'm actually going to move our little Skavens into the box here because I'm worried I might be overspraying some of them. I don't think I have, but just to be super careful. Better safe than sorry, right? Okay, let's grab our little HEV bro over here. pretty nice. And again, I apologize. Again, I feel like I'm getting way off screen on these, but I can't see when I'm looking down. And I'm not used to where this particular camera is mounted because I'm in a different spot. So bear with me as I learn through this. I appreciate you guys coming with me on this journey nonetheless as we learn. So now we're going to drop into our pure jade and come in and kind of do what we did on the Skaven and apply the primary color, and then we'll come in with the bright jade as the spots. Give this a little mix up here. Yeah, look at that. So pretty. All right, let's grab our Daiko torso here. So with our color, our second layer of jade down here, it's time to come in and drop in our highlight or spot highlight, kind of bright color of the bright jade, which we're going to see how bright that is in relation to the rest of it. I may tone that down a little bit by mixing it with the standard jade. We'll see. I just got to see how I'm feeling with that overall color. It looks like it's going to be pretty bright, but we'll see. Grab our paintbrush here, mix that up. It does feel pretty bright. Let's see. Let's give ourselves a little tester model here, and we'll see kind of how we're feeling. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think I hate it, but compared to the other guys here, like this one, how do we feel? I feel like this is skosh bright. So let's mix that a little bit with the standard jade. Mix a little bit of that in there, and then a little bit more of our flow improver. And let's see how we're feeling. Maybe this is probably maybe close to like a 1-to-1. Let's see how we're feeling now. It is like a shade darker. Let's just get that one more little dribble of the standard jade. All right, I think this is what we're going to rock with and pray for the best. And that should allow us to still come in with our bright jade and edge highlight these guys, which I think will be pretty nice. I think we're going to come in for one last pass here just to try and bring it all together a little bit. I think we're going to thin down some of the dark jade and just push those shadows one last time. And then I think these guys will be ready for us to hit with the hair dryer. So let's prep here, get our flow improver. Clean out our paintbrush. And for this one, we kind of really want it to be kind of like a glaze, so it does not have to have lots of coverage. It needs to be pretty transparent. That's what we're going for. Let's see. A little bit more flow improver, because again, so not going for coverage. We're going for transparency. It doesn't have to have all that opacity. Okay, let's try on the palm of our hand where I can still see some color here. It's coming through it's still pretty dark. This time I'll add a little bit of water to it. It's thin pretty well with that. I think that might be all right, so let's grab our die coat here. So just trying to tidy up the shadows there, and I apologize. Again, I've probably been way off camera a huge amount of this. Once I start going, I kind of forget to look up. And one of the things I think is really cool with these, and it's one of my favorite things in minis in general, is like coming up with my own lore. It doesn't work so much with Star Wars minis, which I have a bunch of, but with 40K and Battletech and Steel Rift, you can really get away with like creating your own chapters, your own mercenaries, things like that. And for our game, I am pushing hard to, maybe they won't be canon, who knows, but I'm working on my head canon, at least for this force that I'm working on, to be called the, one of two things, the Republic Independent Security Corps, or IRSC, or the Republic Minuteman Force. So something like that. So they're kind of more volunteer, soldier types things, or security, trying to just help out where they can, and I think it's cool. And in our fluff, our canon, I think we're developing the Republic has kind of fallen, kind of like Rome type thing. And these would be like the remnants, which them having some hodgepodge freelance stuff makes sense. They're taking what gear they can to try and make a difference in the solar system while they still can, while the governments are scattered a little bit and lawlessness is awry, if that's the word. Well, lawlessness awry? I don't know if that's right. While lawless behavior is widespread, they're trying to do their best to aid and support. So it's kind of what I'm thinking. I really am partial to RASC, Republic Independent Security Corps. I like that. That's very cool. Makes me think of it. Maybe it's a volunteer security force versus like official military type thing, or maybe it is. Maybe it is still independent because they're allowed to operate independently. Who knows? But that's, again, one of the beauties of games where you get to control some of the fluff and inject yourself into it, whether mine becomes official because I work here or not, that may or may not happen, but I'm still, in my head canon, this is still what I'm forging and I'm creating, and I think that is very, very cool. And hopefully when you guys are working on your minis, that is something that you consider when you're painting, because I feel like it also helps me stay motivated. My little soldiers have kind of their own like faction, their own world that I've been working on, and I think that is pretty neat. So I do want to clean out our airbrush here, as I do, and then hit these guys with a hairdryer so you guys can see kind of how they'll look, and then we'll mount some of them to their legs, and then I think that'll be about all we do today. So as we grab these for the hairdryer, you're going to get to see a little bit better probably what they look like. And that Daiko's coloration's a little bit far off compared to the other guys, because I hit him with that initial highlight that's a little brighter, but I think he'll be fine. And I love like seeing this transition from like dark to light. It's so cool. Alright, so I think I'm happy with the hair dryer process on those. Let's go ahead and zoom around out here, and we'll grab some legs. Doop, doop. Alright, so we got 7. Alright, so let's grab the Daiko first, and we're going to try very hard to not damage the paint job. We're just going to grab the stick here, right up where kind of the glue was, and just give it a little whoop. That one went into our water. Not what we wanted. Alright. A little light bro here. Ooh, that one actually left some. Okay. I think these are going to look really cool once they're mounted to their legs. We may have to get in there with that. Ooh, I missed a guy. He hasn't been hair dried. Whoopsies! I noticed he's in the back corner and he's still super shiny. I'm glad I didn't just grab him. I would have totally messed up the paint job. And these were all hodgepodged for the most part. Some of them are a little bit more close to the official minis as possible, or I say possible, closer to the official minis. But a lot of them are converted and little tiny bits that I worked on and did. This bit actually kind of moved up when it dried. That's unfortunate, but we're just going to leave it as it lies. Give them the Supreme! Alright, I think that's probably pretty good. Let him hang out. We'll grab him last. Here's our Ultra Heavy, the Klondike. Boom. hopefully the majority of these mounting points in the sticks will be covered by the kind of hip assembly here, the legs. There we go. Alright, so let's grab the lights. Those were a little easier if I recall, and this light goes with these goofy little legs here. And so he needs to have this area kind of trimmed just a little, because that is a pretty specific spot he's going. Okay, so let's grab a little dibble of some glue. And we'll see if we can't mount this guy to his legs, his forever leg home. You can see with that paint, he's adhering much easier, which is nice. Much nicer. Alright, so this guy goes with these legs. Let's get him mounted up. Whoops. He did not cure quite as fast or get a bond quite as quickly. Guess we didn't break anything. And so I think we're just going to leave that. He's kind of staying. I don't want to touch him. We'll let him dry. Now our mediums. So we got that guy and this guy. And that's those legs, and I believe these legs. Those are bigger. And I think this one was rocking those legs. I don't think it was these. Yeah, it's definitely these legs for our kind of Titanfall looking guy. Let's close some paints here. Got all these open on my desk, and I'm getting it all over my hands. I guess you guys can't see that super well, but it keeps happening. Keep having to clean it off, so let's go ahead and grab this. And for this one, I'm going to try and hark him back a little. Ooh, he's actually got some little extra. Let's get off there, too. Let's trim that up. All right. Kind of trying to tilt him back a little bit because that torso innately kind of leans forward a smidge because it's from the authority tract, so it has a different kind of positioning to it, and I wanted to use it on this to get kind of a Titanfall vibe, so I had to arc it back a little bit. Alright, so that brings us to the Daiko. Let's see how this is looking. Okay, I'm going to go on this one. I believe he was kind of turned like that. It wasn't like that. I think it's like this. Yeah. Beautiful. I like it. Alright, and that leaves us with our Ultra Heavy, which is these legs, and our Heavies, which are those. And I believe this guy was rocking the normal legs. And he's so big and beefy. Very cool looking. I don't think I actually looked at him on the Mars legs. Yeah, it looks a little goofy. So he's going to go with these legs. These legs. And this one most definitely did not skip arm day. He did not skip arm day. He real big, big boy. Big old boy. struggling to cure here, as we've been dealing with in general with that glue. I think he's in a good spot. Nope, he was in a good spot until I bumped him. I'm just going to leave him. Just going to leave him. We'll grab our other heavy here. His little mount rod came off pretty easily, so should be all right. Yep, beautiful. And then for our last guy, ultra heavy, and this one is actually pretty. I think this one is the one that's the most stock. If not, actually, I think he's fully stock. He's the only one I didn't really do any conversion with. Oh, actually, I say that no, his arms are different. I'm using the Corpo ultra heavy arms on him, so not quite fully stock. Okay. I just thought these arms looked super cool with them. I'm trying not. I was hoping not to have to put a lot of pressure on them because I don't want to mess up the paint job with my fingers. But that glue, just being a little punk glue. Yeah, this one's gonna be the pain. He's not wanting to, not sitting up at all, so I can't like get him in a good spot and then let him sit down. He's just not getting tacky. All right, there we go. Got him. All right, so slide him over and let him dry. And we'll give you guys a recap of what we have worked on today, or what you guys have maybe seen me work on today when I've kept things in frame, right? So first we've got our, I guess I could zoom in for this one. This will be a little easier for me to keep in frame, right? So we got our little Skaven rat with his transition color, so we can start working on that. We have got our X-Acto blade that I'm going to get out of the way and not stab myself with while I'm showing you guys, though. We got a tiny little Skaven bro. This transition there. Oop. And some more Skaven bros. We got all the little Skavens. And these are commissioned for Jason Murray from the Mallet podcast. I occasionally do some stuff for him for primarily Underworld and MCP. But I think I've got a couple projects in the pipeline. This one and a Iron Warrior small project for my buddy Doug. Doug. And I think after that I might take a break from some commissions. I really like how those folds came out with a nice green. Mostly because I want to kind of focus on some stuff for me. So I think that might be what happens. After the Skaven here, we have got our Republic Independent Security Corps, or Republic Minuteman Forces, RMF or RISC. And we've got our little light bro. Our base color's down the way I want. Light bro number 2, who's freaking cute. He just hop. Looks like he's gonna hop around and shoot stuff. Love him. Got our medium, kind of Titanfall inspired. Got our other medium, the Daiko. We got our heavy. We got our heavy number 2. It's ready to shred stuff. And then we have got our Klondike. And that's it, guys. That is what we have achieved today. Got our Skaven Bros with the primer and the base coat minus him, who needs to be, I guess I could have sprayed, but I didn't have a brown on here, but I can hit him with a contrast. And then we've got our teal color or jade color down for our Republic Independent Security Corps freelance HEVs. So if you guys enjoyed this, please sound off in the comments below. If you're working on any hobby stuff of your own, drop a link, show me what you've been working on. And finally, if you want to help support what I do, check out the links in the description down below. Fortress Miniatures and Games for anything Battletech related, any and all your needs. He also sells, happens to stock Steel Rift 2, which segues into Deathward Designs. If you want to help support what I do at my day job, pick up some stuff from Deathward Designs. And if you're looking to pick up some awesome, fantastic paints, check out Monument Hobbies. Their Pro Acrylic is my jam. I own 2 bottles of every paint they put out, so that if I ever run out, I've got a backup. That's how much I like their paint. I love their primers as well. And I've got a link in the description down below for a discount code and a referral for you if you want to pick up the Pro Acrylic. I promise you won't be disappointed. If you want to be a super supporter and you enjoy this content, you enjoy what I'm doing and the message I'm putting out, and just want to try and help give that little extra edge and push to help it grow, maybe consider becoming a super supporter, heading on over to Patreon and checking it out there. I don't post as much there as I would like, but I'm trying to grow and do what I can do, and you guys are helping give me that push and that motivation to do so. As always, though, folks, it's time for me to sign off today. Keep painting your models and keep rolling your dice. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will catch you guys next time.